a minute or two, and then we'll get going.
Did anybody watch that Monday Night Football game last night?
A little bit, yes.
Wow. I can't believe that non-call at the end of the game.
Even worse that it was a call and it was taken away. The guy made the right call.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, well.
So, Brian, only join me. I'm trying to join that. What is the meeting ID?
Oh, no, what you're going to do, Mark, is you're going to go to join.me/tagnational. And then all you need to do is enter your name, and essentially you're going to knock on the door to get in.
Okay.
No .com on the end of Tag National. All right, so let's see, we've got Keith, Sean, Cheryl, Pete, Mark, Dale, and we got the group from Tag coming. I'm sure we'll get a few more people to join as we go. So just real brief, the conference call that we wanted to go through here today. We've got Keith Stute. Obviously, we've got individuals from each one of your on the Voyager Star team to present a strength or something that unique about their business. So Keith is going to kick us off with that today. I'd like to kind of go around the room after Keith's presentation and get some of the key takeaways that you got out of StarCon, any feedback that you have for us here at TAG as well. Then we're going to talk about the 2014 budget, some new webinars that we're going to be launching here at TAG. We're going to introduce you to the your date for your first Voyager meeting of 2014, so we can prepare for that. And then lastly, we're going to pick somebody to present on the next conference call. So with that, again, I want to thank Keith Stute for stepping up to the plate and spending the time to put together a presentation for everybody here today. So Keith, let me pop open to the presentation.
You said stepping up. You told me I had to do it, right? I mean,
I try to be kind. Right. So let me see if I can give you control here.
All right. So just a mouse click will push forward.
Yep, you're good to go. So let me get rid of this little X box here. Then now you're good.
Let's see if I can move it to the next slide here, Brian. Oh, there we go. So we're talking about a method of prospecting. It's really a kind of a play on the elite bird dog group, and we talk about strengths and weaknesses. I think this is one of the things that we do just a little bit differently, and it's something that's really become pretty successful for me. And when you look at the reason for the name of the van, really it's a group of professionals that we've brought together. They're business owners, they're key players in the area, non-competing businesses that we get together in a structured format to share really ideas of where we want to be with our business in relation to new clients and prospecting. Who do we want to go in and see? What have people seen on the street? Who are their new clients? And we go through that in a structured format. So the whole nature of where we call it the van is after about a year or more of doing it, it came up with this kind of this silly notion that we were able to really all jump in a van, pull up to a new business, and all of us are able to get out and really provide service to that new business or whoever that client is because of the nature of what we do. So from communications, you'll see the list of the people that we have in it currently, but it works pretty well, and that's where really the whole silliness came about of the van. We pile in the van and we go to a customer site and we're able to provide services for them. So what is it? It's really, as I mentioned, just a way for us to share information. It's a way for us to see if that will click through, Brian. There we go. I got some nice, pretty pictures to clearly keep Sean occupied. That's the only reason for these. It's a method for us to communicate and be able to share information about each other's businesses and prospecting. Really, that's what it's all about. Why was it created? Because we can't do it all alone. I mean, the reality is we're a relatively small business. I do, in our case, I'm doing all of our outside sales. So I don't have the ability to have, a sales force right now. So my ability to have a duplication of me out there is hugely important. So I can't see every new construction project. I can't see every new opportunity, and this affords me that capability in many cases. So I'm able to get more feet on the street as a result of really doing this. Who's involved, and this is kind of makes it a little easier. Most of these folks are business owners or key people within this particular territory. We don't open it up to just anyone. The reality is the way we have this structured is you have to have an extreme level of comfort. I mean, it's that elite bird dog type scenario. Whereby we're friends, right? But we go to each other's houses. We're that close. But within the business, we're willing to literally have our own staff or open up our, Tiger Paw or CM package and reach out to any client at any time for anybody that's a part of this. So if we go through, the Ethan Allen Group, they handle HR services. They do both short-term placement, long-term placement of individuals. They do payroll services, and they also do HR management, which is called PEO, where basically they're taking over your inside HR service, which is very important today with all the nuances that are coming out with healthcare, and certainly in New York State with all the little things they come out with. So Tom is someone that I know very well. We're also a client of theirs, and they're a client of ours. Rhinebeck Bank, John is Vice President of Community Lending. He's been with two other banks prior to this, but very well connected in the community and a lot of different people that he knows at multiple levels. So, I mean, these people are dealing with, certainly business owners and people that we would need to talk to in many cases. James owns his own media company. They're a marketing group. They do, again, centralizing. They are nationwide, but most of their focus here is within the Hudson Valley, and they do a pretty decent job and pretty well connected with some different customers. Paul is someone that I've worked with for many years, high-end corporate furniture. They do design, planning, and really everything associated with the interior of a new space. He is by far the best relationship I have. If it's a client that he's working with, it's a client that I certainly should be working with. So for how this came about is Paul and I were doing a lot of work in the past, and John and Tom were doing a lot of work individually. Ultimately, we hooked up, and then this group has kind of evolved from there. Skip Weissman is a motivational speaker. He is also a business consultant for communications within the business. Again, dealing with business owners. He does a lot of non-for-profit work, profit work. So he's something that's worked in really nicely within our group. He's got clients not only local but nationwide. He does a lot of conventions and those types of things. Howard owns his own agency here with a group called Farm Family, and again, another client. We've done some work with Howard, and again, he's looking for a little different clientele than we are, but it helps out some of the other people within the group. And then Rob, who's a sales director for Clear Channel Radio, a lot of radio stations in the area, has a lot of connections with individuals, businesses here. He's recently we've kind of kicked him out of the group just because, and I'll talk to you how we're organized, just because of his ability not to partake in our regular meetings and such. So those are the players that we have today. We keep it very, very close. We just don't open it to anyone. This is not a social hour, BNI type thing. This is actually something where we want to conduct business. We certainly have those relationships where it can be social, but in this case, we really want to help drive each other's businesses. So how is it organized? It's organized that we get together structured every 6 weeks. We make a commitment to each other that every 6 weeks at either one of our offices or some location that we're going to get together. It's typically, we've now changed it. It did become a little bit more social. Now it's an early morning appointment, not too early, 9 o'clock, and we run until about 11, and then if we need to, do some things afterward, make calls on each other's behalf or do a lunch or something like that, we certainly can do it. But we want to make sure that you're going to participate when you commit to the group. So if we say you're going to be there, it's like any other appointment that you have with a business, unless there's something that's hugely important, we're not going to miss it. We've created basically a Google Drive, and we've changed this around many different ways, and this is the latest revision of it that allows us to kind of see, number one, as we go around the room, each person gets roughly 10 or 15 minutes to talk about who are the businesses that they want to get in and talk to. And we define those people. At this point, we've limited to really just 3. We found that doing too many becomes, I don't say counterproductive. It's just that they don't get addressed. So we're looking for your top 3 prospects every 6 weeks. Who are the people that you've seen that you want to get access to? We define it within the Google Drive, and our role each week is to go back and just make sure that if we can help these people, we will, and make notations along the way. We mention any contacts or new clients that we've been able to get over the last 6 weeks to see if there are anyone that these other people within the group also want to share and get access to. Again, our philosophy is that we'll be more than happy to open up a door for anyone in this group, make a phone call, have a lunch. This week we're doing with one of our larger clients basically a lunch on site, and I'm bringing Tom along. He hasn't been able to get in the door, so he's coming along with me for the lunch that we're doing on site, bring it to the site, and gets a nice introduction over kind of a social gathering. So the contacts to share are almost as important as a prospect's wish list, because we'll certainly be able to work off each other's lists. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we make a commitment to each other on who's going to do what before the next meeting. Again, without that, it's just sharing information. It's, yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. But we want to put it in writing so that the next week, as we create the next meeting, here's what you said you were going to do. Did you do it? And we try to make each other accountable for those actions and really help. So in this case, you'll see some of the places that some people knew that they could help each other's out, and then set up those appointments, whatever it can be, to make that introduction. So it's pretty straightforward. It's taken a long way to get to this point. The value really is that we can open up doors that we just, it's amazing. John sits on a couple of different boards. Tom is connected with some folks. I'm connected with a lot of different people. So, once you find out who someone's trying to get into, it's not very difficult to open up that door. And so what's the value? The value obviously is not only driving additional business, but it strengthens your relationship with that customer too. We're not going to bring someone to the table or someone to that customer that is not as bright or as is the same type of business that you are. I mean, there has to be some level of confidence that you bring to that customer, and you want to instill in that client the same level of confidence with whoever we bring to the table, whether it's a furniture guy, the vice president of lending, whatever it may be. So it's become a big part of what we do every 6 weeks. Again, that's all that meeting is, but again, every week we're doing something for these group members to help them and ultimately help ourselves too. So it's not anything that's rocket science, but it is something different just because I think of the structure that we put together. That's all I really had to cover in the short period of time. Does anyone have any questions?
Hey, Keith, what's been your best, out of all these guys, what's been your best referral source?
From within this group?
Yeah.
Well, I think, certainly Paul, who owns his own furniture design group, high-end furniture, certainly he is number one. And then, Tom, who is the HR guy, placement guy, is probably number 2. But John certainly can get introductions to a lot of people. So oftentimes it's not that he'll bring me someone that, is someone that's a potential client. It's just, hey, John, do you know this guy? Yes, let's set up a lunch and we'll go out and do it type of a thing. So all those three are probably the 1, 2, and 3 in that order.
Hey, Keith, it's C.G. Frink. I'm sorry I joined the conference late. I couldn't get off a call. I was wondering if you could do me a favor and just go back a little bit to who the members of this group is and how you kind of hooked up with them. I hate to make people repeat that, but.
Sure. So it's a smaller group. The group, again, CG, it's a little bit of a play on kind of the elite bird dog group, except that we all get together as a group. So they're non-competing professional businesses, most of them nearly owners or, vice president level types. So Tom does, placement, both part-time, full-time, HR services, PEO services, payroll. Obviously, John is a vice president of lending for a local bank, and on a lot of different boards, non-for-profit boards. Meet Vision is a marketing group. Certainly, us being telecommunications, and then Daubin Corporate Interiors does design and furniture work. Skip is a motivational speaker and business consultant for efficiencies within the office, communications efficiencies and such. Farm Family, Howard is an agent. When I say agent, he owns his own agency, local, and looking to grow his business. And then Clear Channel, obviously, is he does radio advertising and such.
Hey, Keith.
So the whole purpose to, yes, Dale.
Of these 8 companies, when you have these meetings, do all 8 of them show up every time?
In most cases, yes. In most cases, we've had the group a little bit larger. We had a CPA. We had someone that did. We had a couple others, and it became a little bit unmanageable. And they weren't. The commitment wasn't there each and every week. So by finding just 3 top prospects, going over who you've landed it since the last 6 weeks, it makes for a faster meeting, and each of these people do make a commitment to be there. There are certainly exceptions. Someone has a very large appointment, even though they've committed, we'll let that go. But if someone consistently isn't there, ultimately they're not going to be a part of the group.
Then how many of these 8 are you doing either managed services for or doing their phone system?
Well, Skip is a kind of a one-man consultant. We do work with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out of the 8.
Oh, nice. Okay. So the group is sharing each other's information. I mean, sharing their businesses. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of, you gotta kind of, it's the, believe it enough that you'd use their own products, and I certainly in that way too. Some of the stuff that Paul has from a corporate interiors, I'd love to own, but some of the stuff's a little bit more expensive. But we've done some work with him, and we haven't changed our bank, Tom. The one thing about John changing from bank to bank is he's created a lot of relationships along the way. Luckily, I haven't pulled my bank account from place to place, and I haven't gone with him as of yet. But he's got a nice small bank that we're working on right now, his own bank, to see if we can't get in and do a full managed product for him. So nice opportunity for us. That's just a byproduct of what he normally does, but certainly he can give us an introduction within the bank itself.
And Keith, how did you initially put this group together, or did it? I mean, how did it form? Were these people you contacted, or someone else contacted you? How did it get put together? Ultimately,
Paul and I were doing a lot of work, but we would get together for lunch and share, basically 2 hours of, who you've been talking to and what's going on. And so Paul from Daubin Corporate Interiors were getting together, and Tom and John were always getting together associated with the business they did from the bank and from the HR perspective. So they leveraged off each other pretty well. But we all kind of met. I think I brought Paul. Met Tom somewhere along the way. He was probably calling on us from a client perspective. We created a relationship, both business and professional, and I mean professional and I think personal. And then it just started. It's taken years. We've probably been doing this now, I think, 3 years. So it wasn't overnight. And when I tell you, when we first had the meetings, it was a lot of fun and games and whatnot, but it was literally from, we'd get together at noon and not get over until like 4:30. So eventually you're like, geez, although it's fun, we're not really being all that productive. So now we've got it down to really a 2-hour stint, and with the Google Drive and that type of thing, we've really defined our roles and responsibilities, and I think it's much more efficient.
Other questions for Keith?
Keith, this is Jeff and Cheryl. Once again, to confirm, your timing that you have these meetings, was it once every 6 weeks?
Correct.
And then was there an interim get-together, or just you set up those times to get that is the time to get together?
Well, because we all kind of know each other, we still get together from time to time. But our latest role is that we look at that drive every week and see what we can do to help anybody that put some stuff out there since the last time. So, this week alone, I have kind of three meetings set up with for 3 other people to get them in front of people that they want to see. So most of the time, it's as simple as we're not looking to them to say, hey, do you need furniture? It's just, how about an introduction, to someone at the bank perspective. The best introduction we can have is just really just a lunch meeting, and just people have to eat anyways, and it's not trying to be in a hard sell. It's just creating a relationship and talking and that type of a thing, and it's certainly for John's perspective, not looking to say, hey, who's your bank, but just having a brief conversation, following up, and creating a long-term relationship that will ultimately hopefully lead to business for any one of us.
And the other question I had, which I think is making sense, Cheryl and I were just talking, but a lot of my elite bird dogs are kind of in similar industries to mine, meaning the movers, the furniture, people that are doing these specific things. Your list looks pretty diverse, and I guess one of the other advantages of that is that you get exposure to different industries and different contacts that they might have within those industries. Has having so many different types of people outside of specifically things that would be people moving or looking at telephony helped?
Well, for me, yes and no. I mean, if you look at, for example, someone like Howard Lane, he's the Farm Family Insurance Group really does really well in a kind of a farm setting and a rural setting, and if you've got tractors and barns and all these types of things. So certainly not a great play for me, but for certainly the banker that's got to finance some equipment and that type of thing that's worked out well. That's not always the case. Certainly there's some times where he's worked on some different things that have multiple locations, and that's helped. But yes, I think, certainly having, we're not going to play in that, the guy who's got 3 or 4 or 5 people and, 6 phones is not really where we want to spend our time, right? So the ones I'm looking for here are for me, are the ones that are the bigger fish, things that are new shovels in the ground and that type of thing. And so, those aren't necessarily, me and Howard don't necessarily have a great fit in that area, but he certainly helps other people in the group.
I appreciate how you've put together your elite group here and actually did an organized meeting. Thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
Hey, Keith, do you get notification when somebody posts something new, or do you have to go into this shared folder to check it occasionally?
We just check it occasionally, but every 6 weeks, someone someone basically runs the screen, and we'll fill in all the new information for the next meeting. So this happens to be the last meeting we had in October. So it's part of your role just to go out there and certainly modify it. It won't give you a notification that something's been changed, but so you certainly see the updates if you jump on it at least once a week. Again, not rocket science, but it's something that helps us,
Keith, are you looking to expand that? You said you're keeping it pretty small, but are you talking about other industries and other roles that you're looking to fill?
We have in the past. We had a couple other folks, and it's just finding the right fit. You got to have someone that we all have comfort level with, and they certainly have to have the ability to say, I don't have any problem with anyone coming in and literally just opening up our CRM packet, say, who do you want to see? I'll give you the phone number, the cell phone. You really got to be pretty close with that type of person to allow that to occur. So to bring someone else in, there's always that, reluctance and, a little bit of paranoia. You want to have a relationship with them first. So I certainly could see us getting a little bit larger, just finding the right people to do it with.
Keith, do you ever partner with any of your dial tone sales guys, or are they just all a den of thieves like the guys down here in Florida?
No, they're all thieves like down there in Florida.
Okay. That's what I suspect.
You know, we want to say we certainly have done some stuff in the past with them, but they've got the same every one of my competitors they're having the same lunch with. So let's be honest.
Anything else for Keith? All right, Keith, nice job.
Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate you taking
Thanks,
the
Keith,
time.
enjoyed it.
Okay, a couple other things on our agenda. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to see this email that went out regarding TAG preparing your 2014 budget. Again, I've got Dave on the line. If Dave wants to speak to this real quick.
Yeah, hello, everybody. Yeah, I've actually, looking at this list, I've talked to most of you and have the info, or you guys are sending it to me, but can't stress the importance of how important I feel budgeting is, because it really does give you that roadmap, and it's it keeps you on track. And I know we had a handful of people that took advantage of us on a quarterly basis and were able to make some pretty significant decisions on hiring or going the other way, unfortunately, in some cases, but making that decision, being able to identify it much sooner in the process than waiting. So take advantage of it. Send me that info. If you have year-to-date October versus this email said September, that's even better. And we could start putting it together, and I'll set up a time to have a one-on-one with you. And then ideally is we got to stay on it and meet quarterly. And I'd be more than happy to meet monthly if you wanted, but quarterly for sure to track your actuals against it, because that's the other important part, is we can develop a budget, but if we don't go back and take advantage and look at it and compare the actuals to understand what we're missing or where we're doing better, then it doesn't do us much good. So just take advantage of us here at TAG. We'll put it together, do most of the heavy lifting, and then have those quarterly meetings with you. And like I said, a lot of you have already done it. For those of you that haven't, just reach out to myself and we'll get it done. So if you got any questions, just let me know.
Okay, a couple other things I wanted to go through in terms of our agenda today. In addition to the budget, I wanted to hear a little bit about StarCon. Any feedback that you have regarding StarCon? Maybe a couple of the key takeaways, one or two key takeaways that you got out of it. Just our opportunity to kind of hear your thoughts and what you thought overall regarding the event. Gives us some real good insight as to your experiences. So, Jeff, why don't you kick it off?
And you picked the perfect person because he just left for another conference call.
Okay.
But he was going to, I think a lot of it, he enjoyed the presentations quite a bit. And he's tried to relay to me some of the Wendover stuff, which I haven't checked out yet. So, but he really liked the different presentations by the members.
Perfect. As you take a look at Insight PRM, we utilize that at VoiceSmart. AJ in our office manages that database if you choose to partner up with them. And Sean and your team here utilizes Insight PRM as well. So if you choose to go down that path, you have a number of TAG members that have partnered with them, Cheryl.
Okay, great.
Yep. Okay, how about Pete Engel? Your thoughts or comments?
Yeah, I really liked the pace. I thought the pace was really good. The presentations were excellent. I thought the quality of all of the presentations were all excellent. The one thing that I didn't do well on is I didn't organize my time in the afternoons when we were supposed to set up afternoon appointments to go visit with the sponsors, and I don't know if that was just something that maybe I wasn't proactive enough on doing, or or if there was something that TAG, I guess maybe should partner with the sponsors maybe to nudge us a little bit better to organize our times a little better. The one thought I would have is sometimes I didn't want to necessarily have a one-on-one with a vendor or sponsor, but there were a couple times I just sat in on. I just kind of walked in and there was a presentation going on, and I didn't know that there was a presentation that was going to happen, but I found them very useful. So one of my thoughts would be is if the sponsors did want to have in that 3-day period where they had open time for one-on-ones, but they also maybe had a fixed time to do a presentation and whoever wanted to hear could just stop by and hear the presentation.
Sure. No, good, excellent feedback. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and the last point, and I thought the dinners were really good. I could still taste that wonderful Nava.
Oh, Nobu? I think it's
Novu.
Yeah.
Novu.
Yeah.
That was just unbelievable. We went there with Clearfly.
Clearfly, yeah. Excellent. No, great feedback. We tried to make it a little more loose this year because I know the last several years we had specified times where we had to be with a strategic partner. So we had communicated with them with emails out to our members and them to proactively get together. So again, we'll utilize this feedback for Nashville. We're looking to have about 20 to 30 sponsors and we're still looking at the format. So potentially do a mixture of a room with an exhibit hall kind of an environment as well. So we're currently hashing through that. So good feedback. Pete Jones, any comments on your end?
Yeah, like Pete, I think the time of it was great. It was a right amount of days, pretty good pace. I do like the way for the dinners how you split people up, got to meet a bunch of new people and know them a little bit better with the dinners. I think the vendors got a little bit out of it, but I think it was really good for us. I like Pete Engel. I thought the vendor thing was confusing, just how you set it up. You kept getting these invites and just take 215. How do you know somebody doesn't have a 215? And I too would like to see where live presentations by the vendors going.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought the presentations were excellent.
Okay,
and,
good.
Came right back and fixed the wheel on my stagecoach.
Awesome. Other thoughts, other input from anyone? Okay. Well, thanks for the input. Appreciate it. We're going to have a MAT team meeting this week to discuss further input as well as plan for next year. So have a couple of new webinar announcements that we're making. Dale kind of alluded to at VoiceSmart where we've been, obviously sales is a multitude of ways, like what Keith showed us today in terms of above-the-line prospecting. As part of below-the-line prospecting that we've implemented several months ago at VoiceSmart was door knocking, and we've seen some pretty good success in utilizing that tactic from below the line. We're turning that into a webinar where we've defined the program and what the script is, what the email follow-up looks like, and things of that nature. Just recently, about a month ago, one of our guys up in Irvine door knocked a 150-employee company. They had some pain from their IT department, met with the owner of the company. The owner of the company wants to get rid of their staff of 3 IT people. While VoiceSmart was talking to them, they've had serious issues with their servers, so right away we were able to monitor all 14 servers. So obviously, as you know, we pay Continuum $40 a server. We're selling it at $200 a server, so right away we're generating some recurring right there. Overall, it looks like it's going to be about a $16,000 a month managed services transaction that should close before the holidays. So we're seeing some real good success from a door knocking standpoint, and we've outlined it, we've detailed it. So we're going to do a webinar on that. The other thing that we started doing, I believe we're going on our third one, and Mark would definitely be a part of this as well because he's been participatory in it, which is a different twist on a lunch and learn called Executive Technology Briefing. And the ability to bring people into lunch, targeted group. Mark and Dale gave presentations on making the cloud less cloudy, and what your IT people won't tell you is essentially the theme. And they've done a real nice job presenting that. So what we're doing at VoiceMar is developing executive technology briefing content for everyone that they can utilize and repackage for yourselves as well. So, so we're going to be launching that webinar too. In addition, what we want to do is take a look at, we've put together the first 6 months of the TAG training calendar. That includes all of our STAR team meetings as well as our training sessions. So you can start planning right now for your salespeople, your customer advocates, and so on to get TAG training. But if you take a look at, I believe where Voyager team is meeting, yes, Voyager team is meeting on the 20th and 21st of February in Chicago. So if you could put that in your calendars. We'll send out an invite so it gets on your calendar early, and we can start planning for that session. So again, February 20th and 21st for the Voyager STAR team meeting. And then lastly, we'll open it up for any questions or comments by anybody. But the next thing, what we'd like to do is schedule the next conference call. I'd like to see if we can get one in about a month from now prior to the holidays. So same time, same place on December 17th. So it'd be Tuesday, December 17th at 1 o'clock. We'll send out the invite for that, and we can get another nice conference call in prior to the holidays. And looking for volunteers before, or who would like to, again, as you've seen, we have, it could be on any aspect of your company. We all have strengths that we can share to benefit from. I'm sure it's great interaction today based off of Keith's topic. This morning, Bill Parker presented to the Endeavor team on his MSP sales process. So it could be a variety of different things. So before I pick somebody, anyone who would like to volunteer? Okay. So I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to select Pete Jones. So, Pete, you there?
What if I have no skills?
So we do all the heavy lifting. Essentially, AJ put together Keith's PowerPoint. All we ask is we'll work with you. It could even be Doug if you want to get Doug involved, Pete. And it could be on any aspect of the business, any aspect. Could be something you're doing unique with Tiger Paw. It doesn't matter. So what we're going to be doing is we'll work together with you. We'll create the PowerPoint for you. We do all the heavy lifting, so you don't have to do much work involved other than present and go from there. So if that works for you, December 17th, is that good for you, Pete?
Yeah, we'll noodle something up, I guess.
Okay, perfect. And I'll give you a follow-up call in the next week or so. All right, awesome. Well, as always, we leave time if there's any questions for anybody, or if anybody's had some nice wins or successes in the marketplace that they'd like to share. Oh, you know what? Actually, yeah. Before I speak anymore, does anybody have any questions for their fellow Voyager members? Sean, how about you? Did you get any feedback from Sean? Was at TAG sales training last week? We had a real nice mixture of owners there. We had we brought on a new member in Richmond, Virginia. Actually, Pete Jones, you probably know this company. They have national accounts, Dominion Voice and Data in Richmond, Virginia. Two gentlemen that just bought the company 5 months ago, actually. So they're new to the business. Yep, they're new to the business. They just joined TAG. So we had those guys. We had Howard Davis at Daytel, who's been in TAG since April. We had Brian Murphy, as you all know, at Telewire, Sean Hogan. And then we also had a 43-employee Avaya dealer from New Jersey that will be joining us. They attended as well. So had a nice mixture of people at sales training last week. Any feedback from Sean or Autumn? Sean brought an outside salesperson as well as a customer advocate.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it all the way home on our 3.5-hour trip back to Western Mass. But we both got a lot out of it, a little more structure than I was giving them. So kind of the message is we got to get back to basics, and seeing they're both brand new, it's kind of an advantage to get them into training as quickly as they did. And talked about getting them into the next training class. Autumn's actually going to the CA training in 2 weeks. It's good. They got a lot out of it.
Excellent. Awesome. And as always, for everybody on board, training doesn't end at the live training session. We'll support you working one-on-one with whomever in your company, whether it's a salesperson, CA, as well as obviously all of you as owners. Lastly, before we leave, I'm going to ask Mark for his some of his insight. As you know, we no longer have a relationship with AppNeta. There were some issues with the integrity of their pricing and some other issues with the organization. So we've been looking for an alternative. Mark has evaluated another organization that he's been going down the path of. Mark, do you just want to name that company as well as where we're at in terms of making a decision?
Sure. So, Path Solutions is the company we've been looking at. Technology is very strong from looking at the network side for the devices, the configurations, and really looking through a customer's on-prem network. Where we're coming up short is the WAN piece, which is pretty key for us all, as far as being able to have an on-site monitoring tool that not only tells us the health of the network, but also the health of the internet connection or wide area network connections. And so we're working with them at the moment to try to see how we can make that a little bit more robust. So one of our engineers has been working with their engineers to develop some of that. So we're hoping in the next 30 days that we should have this tool that should meet 90% of our needs. I say the real strength of it over what AppNeta does is that it's much stronger on the network side. AppNeta has some strengths on the wide area networking, so we're trying to, or the WAN and the internet pipes, we're trying to at least bridge that gap, and so that's a bit of a work in progress at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you for the update. Just wanted to let everybody know that we're in the process of pursuing an alternative to AppNeta. So with that,
I thought Continuum was going to buy. Wasn't Continuum in the market to buy an AppNeta type company, and then that would be a logical choice for a strategic partner?
Correct. We haven't. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I can address that, Brian, because I've been talking with Continuum at length regarding this particular topic. So Continuum at this point in time is determined that they are not going to bring on a network monitoring component to their system. They reached out to a number of their partners, and the feedback they got, Pete, was that they could not recoup the investment that it would take for them to bring that in and then charge the partners what the partners were prepared to pay. The two didn't pencil out. And so they've put that on the back burner while they focus on their cloud initiative. And my discussions with him has been that this is a very critical part of the overall tool set that we need, particularly as you start to deliver cloud services, because obviously as you deliver cloud services, the connection out to the internet becomes more and more critical, and you need to manage that. You need to be able to look and see where the errors are if you're having problems. And so I think they had a bit of an oversight on that, and so that it's coming back up, and I am on the Continuum Advisory panel. We'll be meeting first week of December in Boston, and I will be driving that home again because I really was I was very
Okay. Any other questions for one another? All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for your time. Again, Keith, thanks. Nice job. Appreciate the time involved into putting that together. As always, if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at TAG. Have a great week, and we look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks. Good job there.
Thanks, see you, everybody.